Hey, what's going on, everybody? ArmorChan here. This is going to be a very different video, as you can see from, well, where I am. Very beautiful map, by the way, whoever made this. I'll link their thing on the screen in a moment. So today's going to be a very different video. I have a lot of very important things I want to talk about, so I'm not really doing a gaming video per se. Well, this is a gaming video, but we're going to be exploring this house and just kind of doing some stuff with this, maybe a few other maps, but I'm going to be talking about something very, very important. I have some very important announcements and information I want to get out there real quick. So, long story short, EA, if you haven't been paying attention, has recently started banning people that contain the word mega in their gamer tag. Now, let me explain this. This is unconstitutional as hell because, first of all, those people paid money to play those games. And then they banned their accounts and now they can't play those games. They should rightfully give back the money that they paid for those games to them. Because if you went ahead and bought something and then you got your access revoked, the right thing to do would be to have your money given back to you. But that's not what EA is doing. Which this doesn't really come as a surprise because if you know EA's track record, they're a fucking bunch of greedy fuckers that love to fucking just steal people's fucking money and scam people with online gambling and shit that they justify as loot boxes and shit, which is online gambling for children and shit. So given their track record of not only giving gambling to minors via loot boxes and stuff for their games and platforms that they have, they're now going ahead and just taking games and shit and removing access to them and not giving your money back for that either. So yeah, EA can go fuck themselves. They're a fucking terrible, stupid scumbag fucking company that can go fuck themselves. Fucking stupid ass company. Anybody who fucking advocates for that company is a fucking idiot. That company is stupid as shit. They're gonna go ahead and take away people's fucking games and revoke access. People paid hard-earned money for those games, and now you're just gonna take it? This is personally why I use GOG, because they give you DRM free stuff. So no one can go ahead and take the games from you once you buy them and you download the fucking installers. That's why I prefer GOG. But this isn't a video about GOG, this is a video about EA and some other things I want to talk about. But yeah, in short, fuck EA. We're gonna start a boycott because this is ridiculous. You can't just take our stuff. So anyway, that's my little rant of EA overall. I'm gonna talk more about EA as the video goes on, but that's enough for now about them. Next announcement I have is I'm moving on from YouTube. Because given all of YouTube's policies and stuff where you can't say this, can't say that, blah, 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 you might offend someone, me and many other creators are getting very, very sick and tired of that. And I completely understand why everyone's getting sick and tired of that. It's ridiculous. And I'm tired of having to go ahead and have my videos deliberately censored by me. I want to be able to have freedom of speech and talk about the topics that I want to talk about and just not be fucking censored. So I'm going to go ahead and leave YouTube over the next month or so. I'm going to be going to Rumble. I will have a Rumble channel, and it'll be ArmorChan, same thing that is on here. I'll have a link in the description, and the link will probably have the HTTPS part a bit jarbled up so that I can have it in the description because YouTube does not like external links because they're assholes. So yeah, I'm going to be leaving YouTube because, one, I do have an audience on here, but it's not that big. And I'm tired of YouTube's bullshit, and I'm tired of everybody. I'm tired of every big tech company. I'm tired of them all. So I switched from Steam to GOG. I'm using Steam right now. I still use Steam. I like Steam, but I just don't like the subscriber agreement thing about how you're not going to own what you buy, and I like my rights. Some people don't, but I personally do. So I went ahead and I moved all my stuff over to GOG and bought all my stuff again because I'm quirky like that, or dumb, I don't know. But yeah, I'm moving over to Rumble because I'm tired of having to censor myself. I want to talk about important topics that are important to me from a level-headed standpoint without stupid censorship because of this stupid communistic socialist bullshit that fucking YouTube pulls about how you can't say this or can't say that because it might offend someone. Fuck you. Got a nice little pathway here. I don't like that, because that's not how you're supposed to design that. But anyway, let's get in here. Little lag. Nice little room here. Definitely an American house. You got an American wallet lit. Got nice ambience. It's creaking. Oh, this is the washroom. Washer and dryer. Oh. An old man in a red suit. Or a jacket. Dr. Kleiner. Get some lights on in this place. It is dark. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's raise the electric bill. It's gloomy and dark. I don't like it. There we go. Yeah, right here. Oh, this is nice. Wow, I like this. You have like a nice little chair right here. Yeah, this is a nice house. What's upstairs? Oh, toaster. Oh, there's no tub. What's upstairs? What's in the first door? This floor could be redone. Oh, I can live in here. Oh, some other very important topics that I want to talk about as well. Oh, there's a tub. That summarizes my thoughts about EA. Anyway, I want to go ahead and talk about something else I've been working on. Linux and Windows. So, okay, this is going to be a very long topic. I'm going to discuss this, get my thoughts out there. And this video might not make it onto YouTube because I'm just sick of YouTube. I'm just going to say whatever I want. So, I went ahead and I like Windows. Okay, I'm going to start off right off the bat. I do like Windows, but I do not like the spyware. And I'll have a bunch of Linux idiots saying, oh, you like the corporate spyware and stuff, duh. No, I'm saying I like Windows because it's an actual usable platform that I can get work done on. I don't agree with Microsoft and their spyware because, one, they're a PRISM company and they collect all your information to give it to the government and national security. This is a known fact. You can look it up for yourself. It's public information. I don't like that. So in an effort to stop the spyware and stuff, because I'm not doing anything wrong or anything, I just don't want to be fucking watched because I'm a game developer. I have really good games and ideas that I'm working on. I don't want them to be stolen because you know for a fucking fact they're taking all this information and running it through AI too. You know for a fact they fucking are. And I don't want my original ideas getting taken and put into a stupid AI to effectively become someone else's ideas because they're an unimaginative, unoriginal idiot, and they had to use an AI. They had to use an AI to come up with their ideas and stuff for them because they can't think for themselves. I'm not gonna have that happen. So I began trying to use Linux. Now, right off the bat, I have some things to say about the Linux community. First off, I can't stand you. Why? Is it because I don't like Linux? No, I do like Linux. I like what Linux is trying to achieve. I just don't like most of its user base, and I'm going to explain why. My reason why is because you have a tendency to lie. A lot of Linux users that I have watched and seen stuff from, they have a tendency to lie, which I can't stand. Because they'll lie about the capabilities of Linux. They'll say, oh, well, it's just like Windows. You can do all this, this, and this. So I went ahead and I decided, okay, I'm going to put... I went ahead... A quick little backstory about my experience with Linux. I went ahead and began using Linux quite a while back, actually, about almost a year and a half ago. The intent was I was going to try to get it to a state where I could use all of my stuff, where I could reliably switch to Linux. So then I could go ahead and have all of my stuff secure, safe, and my most important thing is sovereign from big tech, which is something that I really, really wanted. But here's the problem with Linux. Linux is not on par with what's needed. Yes, it has really good features. I'm not saying Linux is necessarily... Well, Linux is bad. Like, people in the actual Linux community who actually use their brain know for a fact it's bad. And people who've gone from Windows using Linux know what I'm talking about. Only very specific, and I mean specific people who use Linux on a day-to-day basis who say it's good, they only use it for very, and I mean very specific use cases, okay? Most people like me who do a lot of things, like I do translations of information to spread around the world, I do content creation, I do, which is video making, editing, and all that stuff. I do game development, I do asset making, 3D models, materials, textures, all that stuff that needs to be distributed to platforms that I sell that stuff on. I do a lot. I also do programming too. I do a lot. That's why I only post once a month, if you guys have ever wondered that. I only post once a month because I don't have the time to do full content creation. Would I love to do full-time content creation? Of course I would love to do full-time content creation, but I can't. I have more important things and obligations that I have to do. On top of that, I'm looking at careers and employment opportunities as well at the same time. So I don't have the time to really screw around with the computer. So I actually had to go ahead and fast track a lot of stuff in the past week, and I've been up basically with sleepless nights trying to go ahead and get a lot of stuff done because I was so far behind because I've been working on Linux. I'm going to explain what I was doing. So fast forward back to about a year ago. I installed my first version of Linux. It was actually Arch Linux because I liked the idea of a lightweight distribution. Also because the elitist aspect of it, because, well, the whole elitist aspect thing was stupid of me. I should have went and prioritized stability. I'll get into that in a moment. So I installed Arch Linux. I actually really enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was nice. I enjoyed using it. I managed to get it to a state that was actually really usable. It almost was able to do everything I needed it to do, except for a few things I'm going to get into. One of the softwares that I use is, let me think, what's it called? Substance Painter, which is an Adobe product. Now, am I saying that I use Adobe? Yes, I do use Adobe, but I don't use Adobe as in I buy their stupid scam subscription bullshit. I use Adobe as in I paid for a perpetual license for Substance Painter through Steam. I spent like a month trying to get all my stuff to work, including Substance Painter, and it would never, ever work. Even with Steam, it wouldn't work. I couldn't get it to run. Well, interestingly, like a month and a half, almost 2 months later, Steam came out with their compatibility Proton thing, and everything worked. Good enough. Anyway, I went back to Linux, Arch Linux. Well, not Arch Linux. I was done with. Okay. I'm gonna finish my story with Arch Linux real quick. So before I went ahead and left Arch Linux, I was taking a bunch of notes and stuff about how to do specific things because I want to learn how to use it, because if this becomes my like daily driver for all my stuff, I have to learn how to use it. So I'm reading the documentation, I'm watching videos, I'm just learning stuff, and there came a point where I had to update the system. Pretty typical thing, because what I came to understand is that Arch Linux is a rolling distribution. So I went ahead and went to update Linux. And so I went ahead, I ran the sudo update, or whatever it's called. I was going to say Pac-Man, but don't think that's it. I went ahead and I ran the update thing. And when I ran the update, everything worked fine, as it was supposed to. And then out of nowhere, I restarted my computer to let the update process and all that. And then I came back to a black screen. And I was like, well, what the fuck? That's ridiculous. So I went ahead and decided, okay, maybe an update got installed wrong. Well, I did some digging into my computer and what was going wrong with it. Turns out the fucking kernel broke. So the kernel broke. And I was sitting there like, what? The kernel broke. And it was basically just a big wake-up call that Arch Linux is not as stable as people say it is. Now, can you make Arch Linux stable? You can, but I don't trust it because I don't like rolling release models because they're not stable. I want stability in the strictest sense of the word. Now, is Windows stable? No, it's not. I've had Windows break from updates on my computer all the time. But my point being is, when something on Windows would break, it was never anything severe enough on my end to where I couldn't fix it. And a lot of people say, oh, well, go ahead and just contact tech support. They'll fix it. That's not what happens. I'm going to tell you right now, every single time I have contacted tech support from Microsoft, every single time, not every single time, my mistake. Excuse me. 9 times out of 10, they break it more. I'm not exaggerating. They just break it more. And it pisses me off because I have a life. I have shit that I'm doing. I don't have time to fix fucking problems. So I learned how to fix it myself. And every single problem that I get on Windows, I fix it myself within like a half an hour. Maybe 2 hours at the absolute most if it's something actually kind of serious. But my point being is, with Windows, yeah, it's unstable, but you can actually get somewhere where you can actually fix it yourself. Now, what's that to do with Arch? Well, with Arch Linux, I couldn't fix the kernel. I had to make a tough choice because given that the kernel wasn't working, I had to go ahead and completely delete my installation of Arch because I tried fixing the kernel after reading the documentation and watching some videos. You can fix it, but the problem was it didn't matter because even when I added another kernel and tried to fix the original kernel, it corrupted my fucking laptop's hard drive. Thankfully, not my desktop's. They're not connected, but my point being is I didn't have it connected to my desktop because I was testing it on my laptop before I even touch my desktop. But my point is that it broke the kernel, and it was so catastrophic that I basically couldn't do anything. So my laptop was basically dead. And so if that's what happens on Arch, then I can't, with a good faith belief, reliably use Arch at all. And many other people who have come from Windows agree with this that I'm talking about because it's just the way it is. If you have tools that you have to use, the problem with Linux is there's no support because Linux is primarily maintained by community, which is a good thing. Open source and all that stuff. I'm not saying open source is bad. I like open source. Let's say, for example, you have a new GPU that comes out. Well, obviously, you're not going to have the latest drivers and stuff because that's just not a thing that's going to happen on Linux because Linux has to be developed by people, individuals. So that takes time. Now, that's kind of understandable. But my point being is, when it comes to support, you basically don't really have much because people don't develop for... Okay, hold on. I'm twisting my words and stuff. I'm trying to unironically decorate a fucking house and talk about this. Excuse me. My point is, with Linux, no one's developing it and making money. Like, what I'm saying is, they're all volunteers. All the developers are volunteers. I'm being honest. All the developers are volunteers, except for like Red Hat with their enterprise version. They're actually paid, which is called Raleigh for short, I think. And then there's Rocky Linux. I'm not quite sure about Debian, but the majority, they're just volunteers. Now, am I saying that they're bad? No. I'm not saying that what they're doing is bad. I'm not saying that they're dim-witted and that they don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. My point is, there's not enough people really doing it, and they're not getting paid either, which means what I'm saying is ambition dies down. People don't feel like developing anymore. People just don't want to... People don't want to fuck with it anymore. Day and age. A lot of that stuff from back in the day is not maintained anymore. It was either abandoned, they don't work on it anymore, or whatever the case may be. So you can't just go ahead and use those compatibility layers anymore because they don't work. Well, given the licenses for some of them are open source and stuff, there's always the argument, well, you can just build it yourself and fix it. Like I said before at the beginning of this rant, I don't have the time to do that. So if you do, great. I'm happy for you. Congratulations. And given that I don't, I just can't sink all that time into fixing someone else's shit to have my shit work. Which is where Windows comes in. The beauty of Windows is I install it, I boot it up. Usually it works. Sometimes like once under a blue moon. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes an update breaks something. That's like that with any operating system out there. But it's not as catastrophic as with what happened on Arch Linux. Better yet, even Mutahar, that guy, I don't know his actual name. He made a video talking about the same thing where he updated his Arch Linux and it just broke his computer and he had to switch to a different version of Linux. See, I'm not the only person that has this issue, which means I know for a fact it's not my skill. I know how to use computers. I've been doing this for a long time. It's just Linux is not in a state where I can just sit there and use it because I need my stuff to work. I can't just drop everything to fix a problem or even a catastrophic one like with what happened with my Arch Linux installation. So the logical conclusion would be go to another distro. So I did. I tried out Debian. I love Debian. Debian is my favorite Linux distro. It's also the grandfather of a lot of distros, actually. But Debian has its issues, too. So, I installed Debian on my laptop, and I did some testing. I tried out Debian XFCE first. I liked XFCE until I realized that it really couldn't do what I wanted. Then I got rid of it. And then I went ahead and switched to KDE. And I liked KDE. I used KDE on Arch, actually. And I enjoyed KDE. It's nice. It mimics Windows to a point. It's not perfect, but I can sit down, use it. I'm comfortable. I can get my work done and all that stuff. But the problem still stands, compatibility. Even with Debian, Debian has really good compatibility. Like, I was surprised that almost all my stuff worked on Debian. Almost all of it. Substance Painter worked, Blender worked, the game engines that I use worked. A lot of stuff worked. But there were a few things that didn't work that were way too critical for me to just use it. And what that was I couldn't get DaVinci Resolve to install. So I used a method from, I don't know his name off the top of my head. I'll put him on screen real quick. I watched his video about how to get DaVinci Resolve to run in a Fedora VirtBox distro box. And it did work, but it didn't recognize my GPU. I had to manually install my GPU drivers. Watching this video from this guy, I'll put on screen too, and I had to install them using TTY4, which it was just not that hard. It's a guide installation. I'm not saying I'm a genius and I did this myself. A fucking course not. I'm notoriously stupid. If you watch my content, you know that. I still couldn't really do my content. I still couldn't really do my content creation because with my content creation, I use OBS like most people. Well, OBS on Linux sucks. It sucks. There's no argument to be had there. It's just fact. It sucks. OBS sucks. Why? It has no audio source capture, which is actually a plugin on Windows, but okay, that aside, it has no game capture, and it lacks transparency windows. It lacks simple features that should just be there. It just lacks simple features that should just be there by default, and that pisses me off. So Linux is just not viable. It's just not viable because I can't justify using Linux because it's just not viable, because it can't do everything I need it to do. And then I'll have some moron in the comments saying, oh, just switch to Linux and it'll all be better. Just find alternatives. What alternative? Kden Live is a piece of shit. I'm staying on Windows, specifically Windows 11, because Windows 10's dead. I'm going to LTSCE Windows 11 Enterprise version. I have the ISO and I have a key. I'm switching to that. That'll last me till 2034. There's no AI. There's very little spyware. Basically, it's almost no spyware. It's just like hardware information data, which is perfectly reasonable because that's for like crash reporting and stuff. That's understandable. So that's what I'm doing. And that gives Linux plenty of times, or it gives Linux and its developers plenty of time to catch up to the state that Windows is in. That's a lot of time to develop your drivers, your compatibility, your support, all that stuff. So by 2034, if Linux Debian is in a way better state than it is now, which Linux Debian's in a good state, it's the rock solid distro. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying for my use cases, it's bad. All Linux distros for my use cases are bad because I'm accustomed to what I have, and what I have, I'm accustomed to what I have, and what I have I need, so I can't just abandon it, if you know what I mean. That's my plan. I'm switching to Windows LTSC, Windows 11. That's my plan. I'm comfortable with it. It's what I know. I shit you not, I know the operating system of Windows like the back of my hand. I can disable telemetry in a matter of only like a minute. I can literally do anything to the operating system in a matter of minutes. I know this like the back of my hand. I know this well. And I'm going to keep using it till 2034. And then if Linux is in a better state, I will happily switch to Linux. I'm going to keep an eye on Linux and what's going on over there. And yeah, that's just what's going on with that. I mean, no offense to anybody who's in the Linux community who's actually making really good strides, who's actually like really helping out. I mean, no offense to the people who are actually working hard with Linux, who are actually developing things that are actually really useful, who are working very hard every day and night, who are actually making really big contributions to actually make it actually usable, to be an actual reasonable replacement for Windows. I feel your pain. It's a bitch. Yeah, also, back onto the topic of EA. Yeah, I can't stand EA and what they're doing with their stupid... They're basically just going to go ahead and take people's shit away and not pay back the money that they paid for those things. It's ridiculous, it's stupid, it's illogical, it's dumb. I hate EA. Back on the topic of YouTube. Yeah, I'm leaving YouTube. I'm not growing very well. Maybe it's because I'm not doing something right. But I can't stand YouTube's algorithm. It basically sabotaged. Like YouTube's algorithm is stupid. It sabotages you, and it doesn't really... You don't really get anywhere. And I've worked very hard on my videos and my content, but yet some dumb video of someone doing some stupid, illogical, idiotic shit will get the limelight and praise and shit. Yet I work so hard for what I do and I get basically nothing. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm leaving for that reason as well, because I want to actually have people enjoy my content and actually like what I do, because I don't make these videos. Well, I make these videos for me as a creative outlet, but I also make them because I want to make people laugh. I just want to make content that's funny. I like VTubing. I enjoy the community. I think it's fun. I'm leaving YouTube because I'm sick of YouTube. Their age verification shit, which they all put this stuff to say it's to protect children. It's not to protect children, it's to take your rights away. Because what did Adolf Hitler do? During Nazi Germany, a lot of the things he did, he said we had to do it because, oh, it's for the children. It's to protect our children and all that stuff. And, well, you all obviously know what he did. See, it's got nothing to do with the children. They do it like this, actually. Pay attention. they will get, I don't remember what the margin is, but they'll get a percentage of people to agree to the mandate. Then it gets mandated to everybody else. So then it becomes a law. That's the problem. We don't have a world like that today where people use critical thinking very much. People just turn their brains off. They do whatever they're told. They tell themselves, oh, well, I don't want to take care of it. I just want to watch the Lakers games or the football game. It's not my problem. Someone will take care of it. Let's go back to decorating the house. But yeah, I'm going over... Yeah, because they go... Okay, I almost forgot about what I was talking about. So yeah, they go ahead and they try to justify all these laws, regulation shit, saying, oh, it's for the children. You have idiots who actually fall for this bullshit, and then they mandate it, and then it becomes a problem, and that's how you get totalitarianism, communism, socialism, all that stuff. Sorry if my rant was a little disjointed, or a little kind of all over the place. I had a lot of topics that I wanted to discuss, and sometimes I can have a hard time trying to articulate because of my dyslexia and stuff. So yeah, I apologize for my dyslexia and my stuttering. So yeah, that's my big announcement, my update. Not really a gaming video much, just me ranting and talking about some things, some changes that I'm making. I do thank you though to everyone who has been here with me from the very beginning. I thank you for your kind comments and stuff about stuff that I've made and my ingenuity for my model and stuff like that. I thank you for... I thank all my subscribers for following me and actually enjoying my stuff that I make. The very small few of you that I have, I don't know what you saw in me that you thought was... But I guess you thought that I was funny or whatever, but I'm thankful that you have followed me this long. I don't want to leave YouTube because there's always that chance that I could go ahead and get more followers, more people to enjoy what I make. But given the way things are going with YouTube violating my First Amendment God-given right, which is freedom of speech and expression, then I'm leaving. I've had enough. My God-given rights and my relationship with God and my standing with him is more important than you and your fucking terms of service. Same goes for every other big tech corporation. Anyway, I've got Mr. Bean on the scene. He's here. He's going to assist in me defending my house. Ain't that right, Mr. Bean? You don't have a weapon. Well, I was not able to give Mr. Bean a weapon, so he'll be here for moral support. Mr. Bean, quick in the house. We've got Microsoft coming. Get in. Don't worry, Mr. Bean. I got this. Excuse me. Watch. Mr. Bean. Oh shit. Anyway, that's been my video. Yeah, we gotta go ahead and start that boycott though. Yeah, fuck EA. EA. Yeah, we gotta go ahead and stop EA from their fucking bullshit. Fuck them and what they're doing. Hello, Mr. Bean. Yeah, anyway, I thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, happy hunting.
I ain't never gonna stop. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Never gonna stop.